On 19th October 2025, you probably couldn't order food, trade crypto, submit your grade, or even play Fortnite. Are we still playing Fortnite? Your grades were gone, or you couldn't submit an assignment. Anyways, thousands of services went down, millions of users affected, 15 hours of PO chaos ensued, and no one knew why at that moment. One professor at Bowdoin had to convert a lockdown browser exam into a paper blue book back to the 1900s. The cause? A single DNS record. One line in a digital phone book for web servers, deleted by a script that was doing exactly what it was told to do. Okay, so DNS, what exactly is it? You type netflix.com into your browser. Your computer has no idea what that means. It just letters to it. So it asks a DNS server, basically a phone book for the internet. The server says, oh, netflix.com? That's 52.94.133.12. And your browser goes there, takes milliseconds, and you do this 100 times a day, every website you visit, and never have to think about it. Now, Amazon Web Services. AWS is the cloud behind Netflix, Slack, Coinbase, Fortnite, Canvas, roughly around 2,000 other companies around the world. About 30% of all cloud computing worldwide. At the core of it sits DynamoDB, their primary database. Remember the name, we will talk a lot about in this video. And they use DynamoDB in AWS itself to track its own infrastructure. So, DynamoDB itself also has a DNS record, one entry that anyone else can call DynamoDB with. And if the phone book says it does not exist, nobody can call it. AWS being so big, it has to run automated cleanup scripts, standard cloud hygiene, they scan for orphaned resources, old test entries, DNS records that get created and never deleted. Every cloud provider does this. But AWS also has a safety net. Two separate systems manage DNS for critical services. One writes the record, the other independently checks that it exists, belt and suspenders. On October 19th, the cleanup script ran its regular scan. It checked DynamoDB's DNS record against its list of valid resources, but the list was a few seconds stale, so the script looked at a perfectly healthy, actively used DNS record and concluded it was orphaned, so it deleted it. Gone. Engineers spotted it within minutes and restored the fix. But what should have been a 5-minute fix? DNS is built to be fast, so every server catches the answer it gets. So when the record was missing, thousands and thousands of servers worldwide cached that answer. DynamoDB no longer exists, and that cached DNS answer does not refresh on demand. The time to live can be 4 hours long or even longer. So even after AWS restored the record, the internet remembered the wrong answer, and there's nothing you can do to force a cache refresh. Every server, each ISP, each CDN, each node holds onto its own copy until the timer runs out. One by one, over 15 hours, Lambda functions stopped working, EC2 incident won't boot, load balancers failed their health checks, and the monitoring dashboard engineers needed to track the outage, also on AWS, that depended on DynamoDB. Down detector that day hit 50,000 simultaneous reports on down AWS. So Canvas went down, the learning platform that half of American colleges run on. Students at MIT were panicking because pages had crashed the night before an exam. A professor at Eastern Michigan just shrugged and said, quote, "My students now get until Wednesday." Headlines were stacking up. TechCrunch quote, "Amazon identifies the issues that broke much of the internet." CNN was having a field day with their bug. Akamai's security team put out a blog post saying, quote, "Even well-distinguished multi-availability zone architectures offer no protection when the failure is the control panel itself." So that was a field day for everyone. So what was the lesson for AWS? They shortened the time to live on critical DNS record, so in the future a bad case can't linger for hours. They added live traffic checks to the cleanup scripts, so before deleting anything, you can verify against real requests, not a stale snapshot. That's like engineering 101. That's what you learn in your CS 101 class. I mean, they just had to spend a few $1 billion to learn it, I guess. But the part worth paying attention is the redundancy. AWS built two systems to manage the same DNS record, especially to prevent failures, and those two systems work against each other to cause this entire thing. One DNS record, 15 hours, a script that cleaned up the wrong thing, and a cage that refused to forget.